brace yourself, because what arrives today reaches far beyond the meaning of an ordinary full moon. This is not simply another evening when the heavens glow above you, while countless people glance upward for a fleeting second before returning to their routines. The energy unfolding on July 29th carries a level of intensity that refuses to remain hidden. It marks a rare cosmic turning point, a concentrated moment of revelation capable of exposing a future that, once recognized, can never again be ignored. Whether you believe you are ready or not, something has already begun moving beneath the visible surface of your life. Think back over the past several days. That persistent uneasiness that appeared without explanation, the feeling that your thoughts refused to settle, the strange awareness that something enormous seemed to be approaching, even though nothing obvious had changed around you. None of those sensations arrived by accident. They were never meaningless emotional noise. They were signs of preparation. Long before this day appeared on the calendar, the universe had already begun arranging the circumstances that would bring you to this exact threshold. While most people continue through their daily lives unaware that anything unusual is taking place, you may have sensed that invisible pressure increasing with every passing day, as though reality itself were quietly gathering momentum before revealing its true purpose. Yet there is one extraordinary astrological configuration unfolding today that has escaped the attention of almost everyone. If you fail to recognize its significance, you may misunderstand every message the universe attempts to place before you. Later, I will reveal exactly why this overlooked alignment matters so profoundly, because once you understand it, every strange experience of the past week begins to make perfect sense. Until then, stay with me. If you have found yourself suddenly waking during the middle of the night, with your heartbeat pounding for no clear reason, remain here. If you have caught yourself staring silently into empty space, feeling as though your mind is trying to absorb information that words cannot yet describe, remain here. Those experiences are connected to something remarkably specific. They are not symptoms of confusion. They are responses to an energetic shift that has already begun unfolding within you, and they are directly linked to everything reaching its culmination today. This full moon is doing far more than filling the night sky with light. It is shining directly onto the road that stretches ahead of you, illuminating possibilities, truths, and decisions that have remained hidden until this precise moment. For 3 zodiac signs in particular, what becomes visible during this lunation has the potential to alter the direction of everything that follows. Nothing about this month has unfolded without purpose. From its opening days, July has carried an unmistakable feeling that ordinary rhythms were giving way to something far more significant. Chances are you sensed the change almost immediately. The month began with a powerful disruption when Mars collided with Uranus in Gemini on July 4th. That encounter shattered familiar patterns of thinking, unsettled nervous systems, and sent unexpected waves through conversations, choices, and assumptions that once appeared completely secure. Then the emotional tide deepened when the new moon in Cancer arrived on July 14th. Rather than pushing your attention outward, it invited you inward, drawing buried emotions back into awareness and encouraging you to revisit feelings you genuinely believed had already been healed. Every uncomfortable realization, every emotional shift, every unexpected tension within your relationships, and every subtle transformation taking place inside your inner world formed part of a much larger design. None of it represented the destination. It served as preparation, the opening movement before the central event finally stepped into view. During only the past week, the entire astrological landscape has shifted dramatically. Mercury, stationed direct in Cancer on July 23rd, gradually dissolving the uncertainty that had clouded your thoughts, conversations, and ability to interpret what your intuition had been attempting to communicate. Then, on July 26th, 2 major changes unfolded together. Saturn stationed retrograde in Aries, demanding an honest internal examination of every impulsive promise, commitment, and decision made without sufficient reflection. At that very same time, the lunar nodes shifted onto the Aquarius and Leo axis for the first time in years. That movement of the nodes is the turning point that completely transforms the meaning of everything happening now, and in just a little while, I will explain exactly why its importance cannot be overstated. For the moment, understand only this. Every planetary movement throughout this month has functioned like another carefully positioned stone along a single path, guiding you steadily toward the experience waiting for you today. When the full moon reaches its highest point at 10:35 in the morning Eastern Time, standing at the exact degree of Aquarius, Pluto will be positioned directly beside it. At the same time, Jupiter will blaze within the very heart of the Sun, creating a concentration of energy that allows the entire story of this month to reveal its true destination. This is not an alignment that allows passive observation. Every person touched by these energies becomes part of the experience itself. Now let us return to the extraordinary alignment that almost no one seems willing to discuss. Earlier, I mentioned that one remarkable configuration has remained hidden behind the louder conversations surrounding today's astrology. This is the moment I was referring to. Only hours before the full moon reaches exactness, the Sun and Jupiter unite in a perfect conjunction within Leo. Yet describing this as merely another conjunction fails to capture its true significance. Jupiter moves so extraordinarily close to the Sun that it enters the sacred condition ancient astrologers identified as Kazimi, an Arabic expression meaning in the heart of the Sun. Under ordinary circumstances, when a planet approaches the Sun too closely, its individual influence becomes overwhelmed by the Sun's brilliance. Its voice fades beneath the overwhelming solar light. Its strength appears diminished. Kazimi represents the single, remarkable exception to that rule. Instead of being consumed, the planet is elevated. Rather than losing its identity, it occupies the symbolic throne at the center of the Solar King's power, emerging purified, strengthened, and magnified beyond what it could ever accomplish independently. Today, the celestial body receiving that extraordinary honor is Jupiter, the great benefic, the planet associated with expansion, abundance, faith, opportunity, wisdom, and limitless potential. Even more remarkably, this takes place within Leo, the very sign the Sun calls home, creating an atmosphere where Jupiter's gifts are not weakened, but elevated to their fullest expression, preparing the stage for everything the full moon is about to reveal. There are moments in astrology when a planet simply expresses its natural qualities, and then there are moments when those qualities become impossible to ignore. Today belongs to the second category. Jupiter is operating at the height of its influence, releasing an extraordinary current of confidence, imagination, inspiration, and expansive possibility into the collective atmosphere. It feels almost overwhelming, as though every door that once appeared locked suddenly hints that it could be opened. Many astrologers have already described this as one of the most fortunate alignments of the entire year, and that observation is absolutely justified. Yet it tells only part of the story. Hidden beneath the excitement is another force that completely transforms the meaning of this blessing. While Jupiter reaches its greatest expression, it stands directly opposite the full moon, joined with Pluto in Aquarius. That single fact changes everything. Expansion without truth cannot survive under Pluto's gaze. Every dream that grows larger today must also withstand the deepest examination imaginable. Every surge of hope, every burst of courage, every vision of a brighter future is immediately placed under a powerful spiritual microscope. If what you are building reflects your authentic self, the universe strengthens it beyond anything you expected. If it is rooted in illusion, fear, performance, or self-deception, Pluto begins dismantling it piece by piece. This is not the kind of luck that simply falls into someone's lap. It is the kind that demands honesty before reward, transformation before abundance, and authenticity before expansion. The opportunity is enormous, but only for those willing to face themselves without excuses. Imagine a life beginning inside an eggshell. During its earliest stage, that shell is a miracle. It creates safety, provides shelter, and protects fragile growth from a world it is not yet prepared to enter. Without that barrier, life could never fully develop. Yet every protective structure carries an expiration date. Eventually, the same shell that once preserved life begins preventing it. The space becomes too small. The walls become too restrictive. What once represented security quietly becomes confinement. The symbolic image connected with the zodiacal degree of today's full moon reflects exactly this truth. It depicts a child emerging from an eggshell. Pause and let that image settle into your awareness. It is not merely poetic symbolism. It describes the energetic experience unfolding around you today. The shell is breaking open. The structures that once made you feel secure are reaching the end of their purpose. Perhaps it is a career that no longer allows you to grow. Perhaps it is a relationship pattern that belonged to an earlier version of yourself. Perhaps it is an identity carefully constructed to protect you from disappointment, rejection, or uncertainty. Whatever form that shell has taken, it can no longer contain the person you are becoming. This is not punishment. This is evidence of growth. You have expanded beyond the limits of what once sustained you. Remaining inside would no longer keep you safe. It would slowly prevent the very evolution your soul has been seeking. The remarkable part is that many people never even recognize the shell while they are living inside it. Awareness often arrives only after it begins to crack. The moment fresh air reaches them, vulnerability follows. Exposure replaces familiarity. Instinct immediately whispers that returning to the old comfort would be easier than embracing the unknown. Many will desperately try to rebuild what has already fallen apart. They will attempt to restore outdated identities, revive exhausted dynamics, or recreate circumstances that no longer support their future. But there are certain stages of growth that cannot be reversed. Once life has expanded beyond its container, there is no returning to the previous version. Today's astrology makes that truth impossible to avoid. At the center of this transformation stands Pluto, working beside the full moon in Aquarius with relentless precision. Unlike many planetary influences that gently encourage reflection, Pluto operates through complete psychological excavation. It reaches beneath conscious awareness and uncovers everything hidden beneath the surface. Nothing remains buried when Pluto becomes this active. Long-forgotten fears begin demanding attention. Emotional attachments that have disguised themselves as love reveal their deeper motivations. Invisible power struggles become impossible to ignore. The compromises you have repeatedly made to preserve harmony suddenly feel unbearably heavy. Truth that was once swallowed to avoid conflict refuses to remain silent any longer. Under this conjunction, suppression is no longer sustainable. What has been concealed insists upon being recognized. Because this conjunction takes place in Aquarius, its focus extends beyond private emotions alone. It reaches directly into your relationship with communities, friendships, collective identities, online spaces, shared movements, and the future you imagine for yourself. It asks difficult questions that many people spend years avoiding. Where have you abandoned your own voice simply to remain accepted? Where have you reduced your authenticity because belonging felt safer than standing apart? Where has the opinion of the crowd gradually become louder than your own inner knowing? Pluto exposes those answers without hesitation. One of the greatest misunderstandings about Pluto is the belief that these revelations arrive only when we feel prepared. They do not. Pluto never pauses to request approval before uncovering reality. The hidden truth emerges regardless of personal readiness. The only genuine choice available is how you decide to respond once it stands before you. Some individuals will attempt to explain away what becomes visible today. Others will distract themselves or convince themselves that nothing has really changed. Yet denial possesses no lasting power under Pluto's influence. Once reality has been revealed, it cannot be permanently concealed again. The emotional release accompanying this process may initially resemble crisis. You could watch a relationship change beyond recognition. You could release a dream that once defined your identity. You could discover that something you believed indispensable no longer belongs in your future. In the middle of that experience, the loss may appear overwhelming. Yet beyond it waits a level of freedom that cannot be reached through comfort alone. What disappears creates room for something infinitely more authentic to emerge. Allow the outdated structures to complete their natural ending. What replaces them will reflect your true nature with far greater accuracy than anything left behind. While much of the world's attention remains fixed upon today's full moon, another profound shift quietly began only 3 days earlier. It unfolded with little public attention, yet its influence will extend across the next year and a half. The lunar nodes changed signs. The North Node entered Aquarius. The South Node entered Leo. That movement quietly redirected the karmic compass, guiding both individual lives and the collective journey. From that moment forward, the lessons shaping humanity entered an entirely new chapter, preparing the foundation for everything this full moon now brings into the light. During the past 18 months, the lunar nodes have been traveling through Aries and Libra, guiding both the collective and individual journeys toward lessons centered on independence relationships, conflict, cooperation, and the constant search for equilibrium between personal identity and meaningful partnership. That evolutionary chapter has now reached its conclusion. A completely different cycle has begun. The North Node has entered Aquarius, redirecting humanity toward growth through community, innovation, shared purpose, equality, and the willingness to place collective evolution ahead of personal ego. At the same time, the South Node has crossed into Leo, illuminating the qualities that are now ready to be released. This transition asks humanity to loosen its attachment to applause, recognition, and the constant desire for external validation. It questions leadership built upon personality instead of genuine principle. It exposes the unconscious belief that personal worth depends upon standing brighter than everyone else. That outdated pattern no longer serves the direction this new cycle demands. Today's full moon becomes far more than another monthly lunar event because it is the very first major lunation unfolding across this newly established Aquarius and Leo axis. That makes it a declaration rather than a simple emotional checkpoint. Whatever experiences, conversations, realizations, or unexpected changes emerge in your life today deserve your complete attention because they are revealing the blueprint of the next 18 months. The future is not waiting politely on the horizon. It is stepping directly into your present moment, collapsing tomorrow into today, allowing you to experience the beginning of an entirely new chapter before you fully realize the previous one has ended. Every emotion that rises, every opportunity that appears, every uncomfortable truth demanding acknowledgement, carries information about the road now opening before you. There is another energetic layer woven into this day that many people will overlook entirely, yet you are almost certain to recognize its influence if you pay attention to your interactions. It will echo through conversations, creative projects, personal relationships, and even the smallest decisions demanding your focus. Venus in Virgo is forming an exact square with Mars in Gemini, creating a dynamic tension between two completely different methods of moving through life. Venus seeks careful refinement, devotion, order, precision, patience, and meaningful craftsmanship. Mars refuses to slow down, craving movement, intellectual stimulation, variety, quick action, and lively debate. Imagine trying to complete a masterpiece with extraordinary care, while someone continuously interrupts to rewrite the opening before you can finish the next sentence. That perfectly captures the atmosphere surrounding today's energy. Within relationships, this friction may emerge through unexpectedly sharp conversations, criticism over seemingly insignificant details, or disagreements that feel surprisingly intense, despite beginning with something minor. One person may crave deeper commitment, consistency, and thoughtful planning, while the other reaches instinctively toward flexibility, spontaneity, and personal freedom. Neither perspective is inherently mistaken, yet neither side easily surrenders its position. Still, this friction should never be mistaken for meaningless conflict. The universe is using it with remarkable precision. The tension created between Venus and Mars becomes the refining fire for the extraordinary possibilities awakened by the Sun and Jupiter Cazimi. Jupiter expands your vision until you begin believing in dreams larger than you once considered possible. Venus and Mars immediately challenge you to transform those dreams into something practical, structured, and sustainable. Inspiration alone cannot build your future. Every meaningful vision requires discipline, adjustment, patience, and honest refinement. Instead of resisting today's discomfort, allow it to become your greatest teacher. The creative frustration you experience, the emotional tension arising inside important relationships, and the unexpected disagreements that appear are not obstacles standing in your way. They are sharpening your understanding, strengthening your judgment, and preparing you to handle the opportunities arriving through Jupiter's expansive influence. Before reacting impulsively, give your nervous system permission to settle. Every disagreement does not require an immediate victory. Sometimes wisdom is demonstrated not through winning an argument, but through recognizing the perfect moment to pause before speaking. Although every zodiac sign will experience the impact of this extraordinary full moon, 3 signs stand directly within the center of its most powerful current. If your sun, moon, or rising sign belongs to one of these, today's astrology becomes far more than significant. It becomes deeply defining. Aquarius, this moment belongs to you in a way that cannot be ignored. The full moon rises directly within your own sign while standing beside Pluto, illuminating your identity with extraordinary intensity. For longer than you may even recognize, you have gradually reshaped yourself to accommodate the expectations of others. You softened ideas that felt too unconventional. You minimized parts of yourself because your authenticity unsettled people around you. You accepted relationships requiring you to become smaller than your true nature. You lowered your own energetic presence simply to preserve comfort within the room. That pattern reaches its conclusion today. The union of the moon and Pluto within your first house uncovers every compromise you quietly buried beneath the surface. It reveals every occasion when protecting someone else's comfort became more important than honoring your own truth. Meanwhile, directly opposite this powerful conjunction, Jupiter expands your partnership sector with astonishing force. New relationships may enter your life. Existing partnerships may approach defining milestones. Collaborative opportunities may appear larger than anything you expected only weeks ago. Yet this extraordinary blessing carries an equally important realization. You no longer need to reduce yourself in order to receive love, support, or opportunity. The version of yourself that survived through constant accommodation represents the symbolic eggshell. Today, that shell finally breaks apart. The individual stepping forward afterward carries genuine strength, complete authenticity, and the exact presence the world has been waiting to encounter. There is no longer any reason to hide the person you have spent so much time becoming. Leo, your experience today unfolds through a striking paradox capable of elevating you while simultaneously exposing what still requires transformation. In many ways, both experiences may occur together. The Sun and Jupiter Kazemi radiate directly through your sign, filling your spirit with extraordinary confidence, remarkable creativity, irresistible charisma, and a magnetic presence that naturally attracts people toward you. Opportunities seem drawn into your orbit. Others notice your energy without effort. Every instinct encourages you to step forward, embrace visibility, and confidently claim the place you know belongs to you. Yet directly across the zodiac, the full moon joined with Pluto occupies your partnership sector, reflecting aspects of yourself that cannot remain hidden beneath success or admiration. Adding even greater significance, the South Node has now entered Leo, beginning an 18-month process dedicated to releasing outdated expressions of ego that may have quietly created distance between you and those who genuinely matter. The lesson arriving today is both simple and deeply transformative. Your greatest accomplishments throughout this cycle will not emerge from holding every spotlight for yourself. They will arise through your willingness to share it. Partners may challenge your authority today with unexpected intensity. Allow that challenge to unfold without immediate resistance. What appears at first to be opposition may actually become one of your greatest teachers. Their response is not necessarily rejection. It may be revealing that authentic leadership never depends upon unquestioning obedience. True leadership grows strongest when surrounded by equals who contribute their own wisdom. The revelation waiting for Leo carries tremendous freedom. Your brilliance loses nothing when someone else shines beside you. Instead, genuine light becomes stronger when it is shared. Let the confidence amplified through Jupiter guide you toward encouraging others rather than standing above them. That choice reveals the deepest expression of your power, and it is there that your true sovereignty finally begins to flourish. Taurus, if life has recently felt as though something invisible has been moving beneath your feet, trust that sensation because it has not been your imagination. For quite some time you have sensed that the deepest foundations of your world were quietly shifting, not through dramatic external events at first, but through subtle inner changes that refused to stop unfolding. Today that long-building process reaches a defining threshold. The Sun and Jupiter Kazemi takes place within your fourth house, illuminating your home, your family, your roots, and the most private corners of your emotional life. This is an extraordinary expansion, touching everything connected with belonging, stability, and the place where your soul feels safest. For some, it may arrive through a move into a new home. For others, it may unfold as a renovation, a meaningful family reconciliation, a significant purchase, or a profound transformation in the way security is experienced from the inside out. Whatever form it takes, something deeply personal is growing, and it carries the kind of confidence that cannot be borrowed from anyone else, because it rises from your very foundation. Yet while this beautiful expansion develops within your private life, another powerful force is unfolding across the opposite side of your chart. The full moon joined with Pluto activates your 10th house, the realm of career, public reputation, professional purpose, legacy, and the image you present to the world. What this conjunction reveals may arrive with surprising intensity because it exposes a truth that has been quietly developing for much longer than you realized. The professional identity you have maintained, the career path you have followed, and the systems of authority you have accepted no longer reflect the person you are becoming behind closed doors. Somewhere inside you, that mismatch has already become impossible to ignore. You recognize the growing distance between the authentic individual you are within your personal life and the version of yourself you continue performing in public. Perhaps you remain in a position that provides financial stability while gradually exhausting your spirit. Perhaps you carry a respected title that impresses everyone except the person looking back at you in the mirror. Perhaps you continue operating inside a workplace or industry where your potential must remain contained while every part of your inner world is expanding beyond those limitations. Today's revelation speaks with unmistakable clarity. These two realities can no longer exist independently. The genuine peace, confidence, and emotional security taking root within your home must now find equal expression in the work you contribute to the world. If your current professional identity belongs to a previous version of yourself, this full moon asks you to release it with gratitude instead of fear. Allow outdated structures to complete their purpose. Something far more aligned with who you are becoming is waiting to emerge. But it requires the courage to stop preserving a life that no longer reflects your truth. If your body has been behaving differently throughout this week, listen carefully rather than dismissing those experiences. Difficulty falling asleep, unexplained restlessness, emotional waves appearing without warning, unusual pressure within your head or chest, or the persistent feeling that your nervous system cannot fully settle are not necessarily random occurrences. Your physical body is responding to the extraordinary astrological intensity building above. The moon governs your emotional body, your instincts, and your nervous system. As it joins Pluto, deeply buried emotional tension begins rising toward the surface, sending powerful signals throughout your physical experience. When this conjunction combines with the scattered mental stimulation created by Mars in Gemini and the expansive radiance flowing from the Sun and Jupiter conjunction, your entire energetic system receives an exceptional amount of input all at once. Rather than viewing this process as something working against you, recognize it as recalibration. Your system is adjusting to a new level of awareness, but it deserves your support while doing so. If you are a fire sign, give yourself permission to cool your body, drink plenty of water, rest whenever possible, and avoid pushing beyond your natural limits. If you belong to an air sign, spend less time surrounded by constant digital stimulation, reconnect with nature whenever you can, and create quiet moments that allow your nervous system to regain balance. If you are an earth sign, pay close attention to habits that encourage excess or emotional comfort through overconsumption, remaining conscious of everything you choose to take into your body and your mind. If you are a water sign, allow emotions to move naturally without attempting to explain every feeling intellectually. If tears arrive, welcome them without resistance, because emotional release becomes part of the healing itself. Before this remarkable day reaches its highest point, there is one truth you must carry with you. This full moon is not arriving to transform you into someone different. Its purpose is to reveal that the transformation has already happened. The period of incubation has ended. The growth has already taken place. What remains now is your willingness to step beyond the shell that once protected you and stand fully within the light of the person you have quietly become. Every structure belonging to your past, your familiar routines, your long-held beliefs, your relationships, your professional roles, and every identity created to help you survive has fulfilled its purpose. Honor those experiences because they carried you to this moment. Yet understand that every protective structure eventually reaches the end of its usefulness. Continuing to cling to what has already expired does not create security. It gradually limits the very life trying to emerge. The future this full moon reveals is not waiting somewhere in the distance. It has already arrived. It entered your life while you were still wondering whether you were ready to receive it. The only remaining question asks which version of yourself will answer its call. Will you continue living through an identity created for yesterday, or will you finally step forward as the person you truly are today? The universe is no longer speaking through subtle hints or quiet whispers. Its message arrives with unmistakable clarity. The old paradigm has reached its conclusion. The symbolic eggshell is breaking apart, and what steps beyond it has the opportunity to become the most authentic, empowered, and deeply aligned expression of your life you have ever experienced. The invitation could not be clearer. Stop concealing your gifts. Stop making yourself smaller than your spirit requires. Stop saving your light for a future that has already begun unfolding around you. Offer your authentic presence now, because the world is not waiting for a perfected version of you. It is waiting for the genuine one. Once today's energies have completed their work, returning to the person you used to be will no longer be possible because that chapter has already fulfilled its purpose. Everything that follows from this point forward depends upon the choices you make next. And before we conclude, thank you sincerely for sharing this time together. If this message resonated with you, and you would like to continue exploring future astrological insights, please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support truly means a great deal. I would also love to hear your experiences and reflections, so feel welcome to leave your thoughts in the comments. Until we meet again, take good care of yourself, and I look forward to sharing the next journey with you.